Namo Buddhaya, Namaste. I'm going to answer some of your questions now. I don't think there's going to be a longer Dharma talk today because as you can see, well, you can't see, you, the viewer or the camera, is hanging in a tree and I am close to the camera as I can be so you can hear. I still don't have a microphone, an external microphone. This I think is being sent and will arrive on Monday. Then I can relax a little and talk for a little longer without you having to strain. I know what it's like listening to a poor audio YouTube video. If you want to hear it in a slightly noisy environment, it needs to be clear. So I'm working on it. Please bear with me. From Monday onwards we should have clarity of sound, as well as our clarity of mind that we're developing here together. All right, so that's my excuses and apologies out of the way. I have the first question. What does Bhante mean? Nice easy question to begin with. Bhante is a Pali word and the direct translation is venerable. So it is the prefix usually used before a monk's name. So my Buddhist monk's name is Dhammarakkhita. Dharma as in Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, and Rakkhita means protected by. So my name is Dhammarakkhita, but people would call me Bhante for short, or Bhante Dhammarakkhita, or even Bhante Dhammarakkhita Bhikkhu. And Bhikkhu is the Pali word for a alms mendicant, homeless, fully ordained Buddhist monk like myself. So for short, I'm generally called Dharma, or Bhante, or Bhante D. And if you're my mother, you'll probably call me Dan, because that was my given name at birth. So they are all my names, and that is what Bhante means. I hope that's easy. It gets more complicated in Thailand. There are very many prefixes to different stages of the practice in terms of, not the stages of the practice, the length of time you have been a monk, the amount of vasas you've had, which is the length, how we measure the length of time we have been an ordained monk. But I won't go into all of those now. You will hear various prefixes like Ajahn, which means teacher, Longpur, which means a very senior, Mahatera, as it would be here, kind of teacher, and you even hear a complicated one, Longtar, which means you may be senior in years if not Vasa. So it's a kind of uncle honorific. Longpur is like grandfather, Longtar is like uncle or great uncle. So they are some of those titles also. But thank you for your question. Aditya Guru. And thank you for watching. And another question. Always good to hear from you. And the next question, slightly longer. Okay, this question is from James Lee from the UK, my country. And the question is, and thank you so much for all your comments, James, and thank you for giving me some background to your own practice and activities, and I can say sadhu, 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 and very much well done for what you're doing. It's also inspiring for me to hear people in my own country practicing well like you are doing. So thank you for giving me that information, and thank you for your question, which is generally in the Noble Eightfold Path, right livelihood. Now, right livelihood is the right view, right intention, right speech, right action. The fifth of the Noble Eightfold Path after right action, right livelihood. So this is easy for a Buddhist monk. Our right livelihood is going every morning with our bowl on Pindapat. So we go with our bowl. It's called a Pindapat, referred to as that, but it's an alms bowl or begging bowl, around the villages, the houses, I went that way, collecting our food for our livelihood, for our very physical aspect of living. We need to eat. This is considered right livelihood for a Buddhist monk. So that's simple. In lay life, it gets a little bit more complicated, but it's in the suttas. It is quite specific in a way. You cannot, for instance, these are the examples given in the sutras, you cannot work in a abattoir killing animals for your job. You cannot work in a munitions factory, say manufacturing weapons for mass destruction or even a little bit of destruction, guns, or trading or selling in thereof, the results of that production. You cannot work or sell alcohol or intoxicating products. Of course, pharmacy work for health reasons is acceptable and fine and not considered wrong livelihood, but working in a bar, a pub, I know that's difficult for some people in the West, and especially the age groups we're looking at in terms of this. Mostly people, a lot of people, myself also, have worked in bars and pubs, so don't get too hung up on this. It isn't, perhaps it isn't your ultimate career choice. It's something you're doing towards something else. Maybe whilst you're in university you might be working in a bar, but technically it is not right livelihood, because you're selling intoxicating drinks. So indirectly, very indirectly, you are perhaps causing harm. And you could also be mixing with the wrong kind of people and also be tempted to indulge yourself. The being a killer, so working, being in the army, the armed forces, having to kill, would be considered wrong livelihood. I think I've missed a very important one here somewhere. But I think you get the gist. If it's breaking any of the 5 precepts, whether it's your job or not, you're still breaking any of the 5 precepts. So it is considered wrong livelihood. That's wrong. It's not considered right livelihood. There's no such thing as wrong livelihood, but it's not right livelihood. You have to do what you have to do, okay? And we all have choices. And one must be sensible. Don't go because you disagree with your boss's decision on getting the exterminator in to kill some rodents in your office kitchen. Don't go and hand your notice in. This would be harmful for yourself, harmful to the people, your colleagues and the working environment, and it is better to perhaps just sit back and really, in this practice, we must lead by example. So I hope that clears that up. And I'm going to just answer a question I haven't been asked, but do get asked, but not specifically at the moment. And that is, how do you share this Dharma? How do you talk to your friends about it? How do you promote Buddhism? Oh, well, the answer is you don't. Because, well, firstly, Buddhism, if you're monks, we're not allowed to proselytize or be evangelical, soapbox, stand on a platform and preach the Dharma and say, hey, you must all convert and become Buddhists. This is actually prohibited in our Vinaya. We're not allowed to do that. So if we're asked, we must respond to questions about the Dharma. So for a Dharma talk, there is a formality one would go through, ordinarily speaking, of requesting a Dharma talk. I do have questions that I am answering in this format, which is why it's quite important. It allows me to then teach, not preach. I'm not really teaching, I'm sharing my experiences of the Dharma in practice with you in order to answer your questions. So with regards to you sharing the Dharma with your friends and colleagues, it's by example. Now, I've said this before, it's something I heard from a very dear teacher, monk of mine. You don't go to see the rabbi to hear his teachings. You go to see how he ties his laces. And I think that's a beautiful saying. What it means is obvious, but let me just explain. What it means is the teacher should set by example. So if you're living the practice, which is Sila, Samadhi, Panya, you're living virtue, wisdom, and developing wisdom. Virtue, and you're meditating and you're developing wisdom, then this will become evident in your demeanor. Your friends, your family, your colleagues will notice the change. They will then ask, they'll say, hey, you just seem so cool these days and so much nicer to be around. what are you drinking? What are you taking? And you can say, no, it's the Dharma. I practice meditation. I don't kill, steal, sexual misconduct, lie or take intoxicants. And then you can answer. But don't go preaching to convert. This is not necessary. People will convert when they see the results, and you are the very results of this practice, which is so meritorious for you, not in a magical, mythological way, in a real way. You're giving so much. In terms of sila, you're giving fearlessness to people and all beings and animals around you. And in terms of your practice of meditation, you are changing, and you are showing your associates, colleagues, friends, loved ones, that it works. And they will be encouraged also to do the same. And you can also, if you like, share this channel. Say, hey, look at this Bhante Dhammarakkhita Bhikkhu's channel. It's called English Buddhist Monk. That's all it's called now. It's not even living in India. So it's very easy to find. YouTube, English Buddhist Monk. Might even be just English Monk on YouTube now. They've made it shorter. But this is easy to find me. Lots of monks come up, but they're not English. They're just speaking in English. So just pick the one with this face and you'll see. Sorry, I digressed. I hope you don't mind. There's something about you hanging in a tree and me standing in front of it that makes this a little less formal than my usual sitting and answering the questions. So I hope that answers the question about right livelihood. Just associate your working life, your environment with the precepts. And if it's not, the precepts aren't detailed enough, you can always go to the Noble Eightfold Path of right view, right intention, right speech. Then right livelihood, of course, but right action, and then right livelihood, of course, then right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Is it detrimental to any of those 8 parts of the Noble Eightfold Path? In which case it's probably erring towards not being right livelihood. Then check it against the 5 precepts, which will confirm your doubts if you have them. I hope you could hear that. I moved back a little bit, I'm afraid. Sorry. Okay, so this last question from Steve Cleary sounds like it could be an English name, American name, maybe Australian, I'm not sure. But nice to hear from you, Steve. Thank you for watching. May I ask what kind of, it would be appropriate, the country, because of the question you're asking actually, but anyway, may I ask what kind of Indian visa one can get as a Buddhist monk? Well, in India, an ordinary tourist visa. That's it. They don't have Buddhist monk visas or even monk visas here. And the so-called or often talked about spiritual visas are not such. They are called S visas, but that usually stands for student, you see. So you're a student of an ashram or of a particular Hindu faith, or you could have a student visa to our Buddhist organisation in Bangalore, the Mahabodhi Society. Well, it's all over India. You can be a student and have a student visa. There isn't really a specific spiritual visa. There are religious visas, but only for very high up clerics. So you have to be representative of a religion that isn't already represented in this country by one of its citizens. So if you're coming as a representative of the Catholic Church and you wanted a religious visa, you would really have to be the Pope or a Cardinal quite high up to have that specific visa. Otherwise, India is open to ordinary tourist visas, and that's the kind of visa I have. A 1-year tourist visa. I have to leave every 6 months just for 24 hours and back or whatever. For now, that's it. Other countries, it's different. And the country where you're coming from also it has an issue on the length of the visa and how long you can stay in the country without departing. So you need to check that out. But there isn't a special visa for me as a Buddhist monk. And if you were thinking of becoming a Buddhist monk to get a visa, it would be wrong view, the wrong reason to become a Buddhist monk, because it's much easier just to get a tourist visa and have a nice holiday. And I really hope if you come to India, you have a really lovely time and a fruitful, educational and self-improving time, because it is a very interesting, very beautiful, but very different culture, country, sociology, politically, economically, everything is so different about this country, it cannot be compared to our own. It has to be experienced. It's like the Dharma as a whole country. It has to be experienced individually by yourself to be understood. And it takes a while. If you're coming here, come for a long time. It can't be done in a couple of weeks. So good luck with your visa application. I understand they're very difficult. Back in July, mine took a month. That's a record, really. People telling me they're taking up to 3 months currently. So good luck with that. I should stop here. I think I've gone over my I didn't check again. I'm trying to keep these to about 20 minutes. I think it seems to be the more useful length of time for questions and answers, and it would mean I'd have to open up another thing on this phone to find the other questions. So we will look at those tomorrow. In the meantime, have a wonderful time with your practice. Please enjoy your practice. I've just said in a short, and I'll just repeat it now. Why do we meditate? We meditate to enjoy it, you see. Don't think of just the goal. Yes, you can attain to Nibbana. Yes, you can become free from suffering in this lifetime. Yes, it will improve you so much. These are the results. These are the byproducts, though, if you like, of something that is very, very enjoyable. Now, if you buy a piece of music or have a piece of music to listen to, you want to listen to it, enjoy it. You don't want to just fast forward it to the end to see how it finishes. You don't eat all your food up quickly just to finish the plate. No, you enjoy it, every moment of it. And this is the practice of meditation, to be enjoyed in every moment. So please do that. Enjoy your meditation. Be happy. Sukhi hotu, sukhi hotu, sukhi hotu. Namo Buddhaya. And thank you for watching.